Okay. Hi. How you doing? How's everybody? Well, now there's audio. No, I was just laughing because I turn it on and then I go over here and it's still not working and I'm like, and then it popped up. And it just took it a minute. It took a minute to load. How is everybody? Good morning. I can tell you are probably all Americans up in here. Happy Labor Day. Yeah. Happy time zone. Happy Monday. Oh yeah, I was just looking. Great. Convenience. That sounds great. No, we talked about Labor Day yesterday. I was like, you guys gotta have some hot dogs and some pasta salad. Is that's how you have Labor Day, correct? Has it changed? What's going on here today? I don't do shit on Labor Day. Fair. I don't really think many people do much on Labor Day. You're supposed to like not labor, I guess. I think that's like the point of it. And then I guess it doesn't really work out if you're like a retail employee because you used to do like sales and stuff on that day. It was like a day off and something about unions. America doesn't do unions though. That's crazy. Oh, we do have an employee off on Labor Day. Congratulations. You work for a entity, we'll go with an enterprise that gives its employees off on federal holidays. Yay. Yeah, nursing home not gonna well, you know, the old people don't get the day off either. I guess I don't know how to say that. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry. You work tonight, but it's a midnight shift, but you got to enjoy it yesterday, so that's good. The music, yeah, I thought the music was gonna be low. Give me a second. I'd not messed with it since last time, but I feel like this music is just a little softer, a little more chill. Let me know if you can hear it a little better now. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Well, let's see what else is going on. So this week I have a whole bunch of nothing. Um, except first week of like doing the thing, doing the stuff, and that's kind of cool. That's been fun. Um, it's been fun trying to figure out what's going on and what I'm gonna do all week. Well, I did plan it for the month because I'm a planner. I used to be a teacher. I think it shows a little bit in how I do this. So I've been trying to think of what I want to do for the month and like come up with some plans. And today we are Monday, so it's a lit language day. We're not going to do French cuz I don't want to. And it's an American holiday, so we don't speak French today. No, or something. I don't know. I don't want to speak French though. Um so instead, we're doing books, but it's also because I want to, at the end of every month, do a roundup of the books that I read for the month. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the books I read for August. And in total, I read 10 books You know, in the beginning of 2025, I was like, this is gonna be the year of slowing down, of taking my time with books, of reading, you know, maybe rereading some books and not caring about how many I actually get through. And in the span of a month, I read what are sometimes people's yearly goals. Yeah. Let's take a look at our streak. What's my streak going right now? We have not broken it in 2 days, but let's see what it is. Also, check if StreamerBot is working. Current reading streak is 1,126 days. I have a problem. At least the problem is books. It could be like meth. I am an Ohioan after all. Theoretically, I have completed 2 books in 1 month. Well, that's good. Hello, Yellow Mustard. You have a dad joke. What word can you make shorter by adding 2 letters? Short. I don't understand the joke. Oh. Yeah, no. Sorry. I'm anxious. I have anxious mind going on right now. Oh no. Yeah, that was my husband explaining to me and then patting me on the head. Really good dad energy coming from that corner of the room. Yeah, the last brain cell is gone. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for the follow. That's amazing. My first follow who isn't actually like a friend in real life. So that's super great. Right, let me get back on track. I'm on track. I am not that easily distracted. We are going to go over every book that I read. I read 10 books in the month. Let's go ahead and pull that up actually. Ooh, let's hope my scenes are working today. This is my second stream ever. Not smut this time. Not that it's never smut. Just not this time. I mean, there was a little bit. There wasn't none, if we're being true. Here we go. Yeah, I put it up. So this is my story graph. I thought I'd pull up what they all are. So I have all of them were horror. I didn't really go away from horror this time. I have Mary, Mayfly, We Won't All Survive, The Book of Accidents, which I know somebody in here has read. The Hare? Is it the Hare or the Har? I haven't decided how that's pronounced. You didn't finish it? This is a reread for me. If You See Her, and then Lucky Day, Chuck Tingle. This one just came out. And The Girls in the Basement. That one's a little less more. That one's more like a. What's the word? Thriller. That one's more thriller than horror, but you know, there were dead bodies, so. And then The Devil and Mrs. Davenport, that was pretty good. And then I finished in 2 days Mexican Gothic, so that was like the end of the month here. And then I tend to read all ebooks, but they're all Kindle. Oh yeah. I keep getting recommended Mary and Mexican Gothic. Some of those recommendations came from me. We'll go through them. We're gonna go through them one by one. So I pulled them all up. I'm not bad at this. You're bad at this. So let's do Mary. Mary's first. Mary, An Awakening of Terror. This is actually the debut novel of Nat Cassidy. I've read Nestlings from them last year. I think it came out last year, and I read that and I kind of liked it. It wasn't that good, but then I read the novel that came out this year, When the Wolf Comes Home, and that came out, I think, last month. And I read it last month. I tend to read a lot of new releases if they come out. With Chinese novels, I could give some recommendations. I'm not against Chinese novels. They just don't usually come across my on my feed. But I read speculative fiction, so it's all like sci-fi, fantasy, horror, that kind of stuff. And primarily horror. I'm a horror girly. Well, that sounded gross to say. But this one was really good actually for a debut novel. I know that he's written a lot of other stuff. He's done a lot of stuff in like screenplays and stuff like that. So it's not like it's his first time writing and he has no credentials or anything. Yep, that's what it looks like when I take a drink. Can you tell it's through a straw? A reusable straw. Let's see the description what they gave us. Mary is a quiet middle-aged woman doing her best to blend into the background, unremarkable, invisible, unknown even to herself. But lately, things have been changing inside Mary. Along with the hot flashes, the body aches, she can't look in the mirror without passing out, and the voices in her head have been urging her to do unspeakable things. Fired from her job in New York, she moves back to her hometown, hoping to reconnect with her past and inner self. Instead, visions of terrifying, mutilated specters overwhelm her, and with increasing regularity, and she begins auto-writing strange thoughts and phrases. Mary discovers that these experiences are echoes of an infamous serial killer. Then the killings begin again. Mary's definitely going to find herself. This one's a female lead. I find that Nat Cassidy tends to do a lot of female leads. In Nestlings, it was paired off between a husband and a wife. On a shifting point of view. And then When the Wolf Comes Home, it was all female point of view. I haven't read a Chinese novel this time. But I don't care if it's female or male. If that's what you're asking, sorry. Yeah, I don't really care who the lead is, as long as it's interesting. I read all of them. Yeah. So for this one, I really liked it, honestly. I think it was really interesting to see a male writer write about menopause, and then also I find it really cool when we get to see different kinds of characters. And like in the horror space, there's a lot of female lead books coming out right now, and they are written by male characters, but they're all like women who are in their late 20s, maybe their mid 30s. This woman is 50, and she's like going through her perimenopausal stage, and it's super interesting. And it's like, I love the way that he like has her go into the doctor all the time, because she's having these visions. She's literally like, she can't look in the mirror, it says in that one part, but like she can't look in the mirror because every time she looks in the mirror, she sees her face literally rotting before her eyes and like turning, like melting, and it makes her pass out. So like, she's going to doctors explaining this, and they're all like, oh, it's probably just menopause. Obviously, that's a normal thing with menopause. So it goes into like some of the sexes and stuff like that, and he definitely like did his homework on a lot of the things and had sensitivity readers and stuff like that, and really took their advice into account, which I think was really good. He does a really strong feminist voice. I also really love this author because he's doing stuff in the horror space and the paranormal space, but he's Jewish, so it doesn't have the overlying Christian bullshit going on in it that I sometimes get a little annoyed with. Which, like, I mean, it's not that bad if that's in there. I just, it's nice that we're not holding up a cross or like having Jesus imagery stuffed into paranormal stuff. So I did really like this book. I'm trying to think if there was anything that was like icky or bad. There's bugs. There's a lot of bugs. So if you don't like bugs, there's that. Stuff is involved with kids, and there's like a cult sort of aspect going on. So that's not always fun for some people. Let's see if they have. Do they have? I never look at what are those called? Content warnings or things like that. I don't think a yes, a pet does die. A dog dies. I forgot about that. I did that was a thing that was against it. A dog does die. It is mildly humorous but tragic all the same. Yeah, content warnings. Let's see. Okay, murder, gore, body horror. Yeah, the body horror is mostly just in like menopause, but there's other stuff, and obviously like melting bodies and people's faces being cut off, which is not. Yeah, there we go. Animal death. There is one dead dog. One. I think only one. Body shaming and all that stuff. The parental death. Yeah, she's an orphan and lived with her really kind of abusive aunt for a while. So yeah, those are pretty good. But like honestly, I really liked it anyway. If you are into female led strong feminist energy, I think that you would be really good. Ooh, here we go. Male lead Chinese novel I recommend. Library of Heavenly Path for female led Chinese novel I recommend is Ghost Emperor Wild Wife. Sandy Eldest Mist. Okay, I will try to take a look and see if I can get these. I don't buy books very often because I am poor, but I do get from my library, and my library is really good about getting stuff if it's available. So I'll see if I can get any of these available in my local library. Yeah, sorry, we don't do links here. But I'll see what I can find. Thank you so much for the recommendations. Okay, so part of this is that we're going to do a review because I'm bad about doing reviews. And I'm gonna also like we'll give it all we can on this because the reviews on Storygraph are really big. So I would say that this book is dark, emotional. I don't know if I'd say funny, but I did find myself finding bits of it funny. It's not hopeful or informative or inspiring, or I guess it's a little mysterious. Am I in the way too much? No, you guys can see. It's sort of sad and reflective, but I don't know if I want to put those in there, but we'll go ahead and throw intense. Okay, great. Thank you. How would you rate the pace of this book? I would say it's probably a medium paced one. Is it plot or character driven? I would say character. Strong character development, yes. Were the characters lovable? Sure, I think Mary is lovable. A little bit sad and autistic, but who around here isn't, you know? The characters as diverse. No, everybody's white. Everybody's white and seems to be at least sort of straight. Are the flaws of the main character a focus of the book? Yeah, I would say so. Sort of. Okay, so for a star rating from 0 to 5, this is where I have challenges. Nobody's read this one? I don't think so, based on comments before. No, okay. So, I would say it's definitely in the 4 range. It's definitely like, because I try to think of like when I'm doing ratings, do I want to own this book? If I want to own this book, then it's a 4 or above. Because I'm pretty picky about books that I like keep physically. I don't really read physical books that often because of disability and accessibility issues. But if I buy a book, I consider it kind of like a trophy for my trophy case. In that I finished this book, I like this book, I want to own a tangible thing of this book so that I can hug it. Is that's just a me thing? Okay, never mind. Yeah. So I would like to own this book. There's definitely a 4 above. I don't know if it's a 5 because there are some issues with it I don't like. Not like something where I'm like dying to read it again, but it's really soon, and it's not one of those ones where I'm like, oh, I love that character so much, or I love these characters so much that they feel like my friends and I want to, like, I miss them. I don't miss Mary, although I think that she was sweet, and I would probably visit her again. She could be my aunt. Yeah. Probably like a 4.5. Alright. We'll do like a quick 1-sentence review. Really interesting. Loved the main character, and the conflict was engaging and fun to follow. I don't know, maybe not. I don't always feel like it's hard to say that it's fun because it's like dead. Red Rising, no, but I have heard of it. I'm trying to think of ones that I have read that are Chinese also, because I feel like I have. It was American Chinese though. What was the name? Anyway, hold on. I gotta stay focused because there's 10 books and we have to get through them. I'll try to remember though. I'll have it like tumble in the back of my mind and see if it comes up. The main conflict was engaging. I want to call it fun because it was a lot of murder. No, no problem. Don't worry about it. I really enjoy hearing your recommendations too. But yeah, no, I can't call it fun. There was lots of murder. There was also, oh, there's some sexual violence. I forgot about that. Now that I'm thinking, but it wasn't depicted. It was mentioned, and then kind of like, and there was also a ton of misogyny. But like, I think he like discusses it all too, like more misogyny than just the doctor scenes. Like it gets pretty bad. But like, I think that's the horror of the book is the misogyny. But I can't call that fun, even though I enjoyed reading the book, but it was because of the ending and how it like all came together, and it was, thought provoking. Thought provoking. We'll go with that. No exclamation points. We don't do that here. Love the main character, and the conflict was engaging and thought provoking. Would read again in the future. There we go. No spoilers. I will not be doing any of the other stuff with this because I'm bad about doing these anyway. So, 4.5 for Mary. Let's go ahead and do our next one. Ugh, Mayfly. Okay, so this is one where I was like, that's an interesting cover. They had it in my library for a really long time, and I always like browse the horror section in the library. And I saw this one and I kept on going, maybe, maybe. And then like they got rid of it in my library catalog because like I guess nobody was reading it, which is fair. And then I got Amazon Unlimited, the Kindle Unlimited thing, because they have like they do that set. They'll try to like hook you in and be like, get 3 months for 99 cents, and then I'm like, ooh, I could afford 99 cents for 3 months, and then try to remember to cancel the subscription. I could do that. Um, so I did that again, even though like okay. I know I'm not supposed to like Amazon, and I don't like Amazon to be fair, but I live in the middle of nowhere in the Alps of France. I don't speak French very well, and I like to read. So, my options for ebooks are limited, especially free ones. I use my hometown library back in the States. They don't need to know where I live, and honestly, I don't think that they care. And Amazon, exactly, Amazon is very accessible. They have so many disability tools. If you can't get like a audiobook for something and you're blind, you can use Amazon to like their Alexa will read it to you. But also in the Kindle app now, like on your phone, you can have a book read to you by a robot voice. And like that's not something that is available in every other bookseller and things like that. So like yeah, Amazon is really accessible. It's accessible for authors too, and it's just like a known evil in this world. So I have Kindle Unlimited, and you can shoot me if you want. I don't care. So they put Mayfly on Kindle Unlimited, and I was like, turn the mic up a little bit. I will be there. How about that? I can also pull this up here. You guys good now? Oh, it looks loud on my end, but yay! Sweet. Okay, Mayfly though came up on Kindle Unlimited. It is, I don't know. I saw it on something, and I like thought I saw somebody talk about reading it, and they said it was good. Okay, yeah. I got told to raise music. So I did. Strats are to dip music and raise mic. Yeah, okay. I can also bring down the music again. Thank you. Also, thank you for coming on in. Nice to have you here. Let's see. Mayfly. Gotta focus. Oh, it's so bad I'm distracted. This is my first time trying this, so we'll see how it goes. It is hard. If you use OBS, then you can take advantage of the compressor to auto duck volume. Okay. I'll take a look into that later. On one of my days off, which is some days. Tuesday. Tuesday, I don't do anything. That's the day I'll have doctor's appointments. Maybe. So yeah, this one was a little queer, but also not. And then also, like, I don't know. It was icky sometimes. Another body horror one. Let's go ahead and read the description, because I can't always remember exactly everything, because this was early on in the month. A provocative. That's the way you say icky and dirty. And I don't mind those things. So just to be clear, I don't mind that kind of stuff. But like, sometimes I was a little bit turned off by this book, which I think is kind of the point that I felt disgust. Anyway, a provocative debut that is both a blood-soaked love letter to Los Angeles, maybe that's also why I didn't like it, and a gleeful send-up to iconic horror villains. Mayfly will thrill fans of My Heart is a Chainsaw and Caroline, voice and not good at this, Kepnes You series. Anyway, By day, Mayfly works in the happiest place in the world as every child's favorite ice princess. That's the reason you read horror, for the icky. By the neon glow of the Sunset Strip, Maeve haunts the dive bars with a drink in one hand and a book in the other, imitating her misanthropic literary heroes. But when Gideon Green, her best friend's brother, moves into town, he awakens something dangerous within her, and the world she knows suddenly shifts beneath her feet. Untethered, Maeve ditches her discontented act and tries on a new persona, a bolder, bloodier one, inspired by the pages of American Psycho. She steps aside Patrick Bateman. It's Maeve's turn with a knife. Okay, and then there's a little quote there. Sadly, a lot of horror stories are written by people who are trying to remove societal lines in the sand with way too many tentacles. Well, I mean, I wouldn't. I'm not against tentacles. Let's not be against tentacles here up in my chat. You know. Yeah, there's some. I can see that too. If you've read this, it is definitely like there's stalker stuff going on. Like, okay, so it opens up with Maeve, and she has stalked a woman online who is a bad person. Like a bad, like, Trump supporting, like, gross sort of like an icky Christian, you know, those ones. I don't want to shit on Christianity so much. I just did it in the other one, but it wasn't that. It was refreshing to see the paranormal not be mixed up in religious iconography. That's all I really meant by that. That's not what I mean to do here. I was like, you know, she's like one of those the word that means that you do a thing, but then you say it's bad, but you still do it. Hypocritical. She's a hypocritical Christian. And she's judgmental, yeah, so it's really bad. And she kind of like catfishes this woman into a sense of security and gets her to say some really racist stuff and like be interested, like show interest in the KKK. And then she like posts, like she gets all the screenshots and like lambasts her online and posts it with all of her people and she gets fired, and you know, like all this awful stuff, like and that's like the opening scene. And then she does some stuff. She does some other manipulations, but like with her hands, over the excitement of doing these things to this woman. And you see why I was like, oh, I don't what am I reading? That's like scene one. And then like she has a grandmother, the grandmother is dying and on like hospice care, and she keeps on like having this like feeling like she's like her life will end if her grandmother dies. And like she's just not a mentally well person. Um but then also she works at a Disneyland as I can't remember which one I think she's Anna. Her best friend is Elsa. So that's her job while she's doing this stuff. And I don't know. She goes on a little bit of a murder spree, and then like she's got this guy, and there's like a romance thing kind of happening with them, and it doesn't end very well. Honestly, icky. There was lots of icky in this, but there's a lot of what the fuck am I reading in this, but it was also kind of fun. It was a little fun. Like if you're into that kind of like bloody violent stuff. And then like also just like the deep turmoil and the psychological like craziness. It was a little bit cool. No? I don't want to say cool. It was interesting. Yeah, a little bit dark romance, honestly. And I kind of like some of those dark romance ones, but like this one, I feel like goes way, 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 way into like a weird place with it. I, I don't know. This is one. Oh, let's go ahead and go to the other review. So it is definitely dark. I would say it was emotional because there's a like whole sick grandmother aspect in the hospice care sort of situation. It's not hopeful, it's not informative. Oh god, I hope it's not informative. Also the movie Point Break, if I remember rightly. Oh. Wait, I gotta go back to that part. Sad part of romance writing. Are they cute? Well then it's not stalking, that's just showing they're interested. Oh yeah. That was that also in You? That was like a thing they said in You? I don't know. I think it was in I didn't read it. I watched the the Netflix series for to like I think season 2. I don't know. I don't have Netflix anymore. I put too much money in Kindle Unlimited to also have like streaming services. Yeah, it better not be informative. It's not inspiring. Again, it better not be inspiring or lighthearted or no, it's not really mysterious either, or reflective or relaxing. It's kind of sad and it's a bit tense. Yeah. Oh, I guess we could say it's challenging because it did make me feel icky. You gotta kind of get through the icky to get to it. Yeah, I have a problem remembering names too. I wish I could quote properly, but I have a problem remembering names. Me too, man. No problem. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna say it's challenging because, like, honestly, if you can get through the hand manipulation scene and some of these other scenes, it's still pretty good. If there were more tentacles, I might like it more. I don't know. How would you rate the pace of this book? Ooh, it's sort of like in between slow and medium. I'm gonna go more medium because it definitely speeds up in the middle. This one is honestly, I think it's a little more plot driven than character driven. But maybe we'll go with a mix. And then, is there strong character development? Technically, yes, but not for good. Thank you for the tentacles. It's not like a good character development. It goes in a bad direction. But we'll go no, we'll go if it's complicated. I think that's more active. Do you find the characters lovable? Kind of. I'm gonna go if it's complicated again because like I kind of like Maeve, but also, ooh, how do you use the tentacles? That's the difference between Japanese cuisine or the red light videos. That's true. Hmm. Strong development in a downward direction. That is correct. I'm gonna go with it is complicated though again because it is. This one was a complicated book. That's why we went with challenging. Is the cast of characters diverse? No, we're bad at diversity lately. This is what happens. That's the worst part. Okay, I have a mini rant, mini side rant. We're gonna mini side rant for just a second. So I like to read diverse books. I try really hard to read diverse books, but if you want to read diverse books, you have to put in a ton, and I mean a ton of effort to do so. Because, like, books written by black authors do not get sent to you. Like, this month I didn't do a lot of digging. I just like let my library tell me what to read. Basically, I let my library and Kindle Unlimited tell me what to read. I did no digging. I just picked up what sounded kind of good or things that I've been waiting for. And because of that, I guarantee every single one of my authors is white and cis and probably straight. Because if you want to find somebody who is not heteronormative white person, especially white guy, but if you want to find something different, it's just so hard. It's really difficult. You have to put an effort to do it, and I fucking hate that. But that's the way it is. I'll try to be better about it. I was better about it earlier in the year, and then I've been sick and then busy, so but I gotta put in more effort. It's really difficult also in horror because there's not a ton of um there's just not a ton of diversity in horror. And that's unfortunate because it exists. I know it exists because I read a whole bunch earlier this year. Um they're just hard to find. So that's my mini rant. We'll keep on going though. Also, sorry guys, I love to write. I write the finest and garbage writing for radio. That's fun. That's fun though. I love garbage radio. I love garbage. And apparently tentacles is what's going on here. I don't know where that's coming from. Anyway. You brought it up once and now I won't let it go. It's my own fault. Books on tax code, that is true. Flaws. Are the flaws of the main character a main focus in the book? Yes! For sure. Okay. What would I give this book on a star rating from 0 to 5? So I'm really bad at these. We already discussed. I would not say I want to own this book. It was okay. I enjoyed it for what it was, but I don't think I want to own it. So I'm gonna go more in the 3. 2 is like where I start going like, this was bad. I did not like this. And I didn't like parts of this, but overall, I think that those parts were like things that were see you later, Kind Forge. It was nice to have you around. If you you can lurk, you know, every viewer counts. Okay, wait. Yeah, 2 is where I start to think this was a bad book. I didn't like it. So I didn't like parts of this book, but I think that those were parts that were like integral to like the structure of the book, and like the reason why these things were there were to make me upset. And they did their job. I was upset and I did not like it, but it was a part of the experience that the author had intended. So I don't think that's necessarily something that should count against it. But that doesn't mean I'm going to want to read it again. Like, you know, Schindler's List, great film, beautiful film, something that people should watch. I watched it once. I never want to see it again. Yeah, no, I didn't love it. I liked some of it, but I didn't love it. So it's not something that I want to own. If it's something that I want to own, I put it in a 4. So it's got to be in the 3. But it can be a little higher than a 3 because they let you do points in story graphs. So it could be like a 3.5, a 3 points. It's not a 7.5. I don't almost want to own it. I think we'll go with 3.5 because I think that it was better than mediocre. Better than mediocre, which I would say is a 3. And then also, but it's just not for me. So now I have to like do a couple sentences, and this is where I struggle. Ooh, okay. Interesting take on serial killers. Dynamic, we'll go with. Dynamic main character. Overall, not my favorite, but I enjoyed what the author was trying to do. Would have liked to scratch. No. Would have not liked to scratch and sniff section on this one. Although. Oh, yeah. Thanks. 30. And then I'm not gonna do content warnings or anything like that again. Save! Another one down. Cartwright, you weren't here in the beginning, but I read 10 books this month, so there's a lot. We won't all survive. Ooh, okay. Couple things with this book. First off, it's Kate Alice Marshall, and I kind of really like this author. I read a lot of her young adult stuff, and for background, I have a master's degree in English, and I have a specialization in young adults and children's literature, but specifically looking at young adult literature. So I kind of like I just enjoy young adult horror for that, but I've moved on from it. I like to read more adult stuff now. But I still I'll go to Kate Alice Marshall because I always know that she's gonna give me something a little gay, which we love. I wish I had a pride. I wish I had Glitch's pride thing. But it's a little gay, it's a little cosmic often, and pretty good on the thrill, and it's just paced really well. So I tend to really like if a Kate Alice Marshall thing comes out, I'll read it, even if it's her adult stuff, which I don't like as much. This one was on that cusp of adult to young adult. It was 18-year-old kids, 18 to 20 maybe. So to me, still very much children, but not kids, you know? It wasn't like 16-year-olds. It was coming of age, sort of. And it was a reality TV show, which I love when horror stories take place in reality TV shows. Don't understand it, but episode 13 is one of my favorite books. Because but that's I really like when ghost stories happen on ghost hunting sets. I want more of that. If you can think of another book that is a ghost hunting premise and it is actually haunted, I don't know what it is about that, but I love it. But I was really excited when I was this is gonna be a reality TV show. This one's also a little bit more thriller than horror exactly, but still has those scary horror vibes. It kind of reminded me of Glitch, are you still here? That one that you had me read. It took place in the what is that place? It was a theme park, and there was not a tornado, hurricane. Fantastic Land. That was it. I can't remember the author. It kind of gave me sort of that vibe, but without it being news sources. I don't know what about this. It kind of reminded me of it. Well, because it was abandoned. That's what it is. Because the kids arrived to the set of this reality TV show that they're supposed to be on, and it's completely abandoned and nobody is there, and then they get locked in, and there's this sort of computer thing, there's nobody there to take care of them and to make sure that they're okay, and they have to try to figure out how to survive in that situation. Let's go ahead and read the description real quick. Excuse me. From the best-selling author of I Am Still Alive comes a new nail-biter that's part survival story, part murder mystery, and all thriller. Perfect for fans of Karen McManus and Holly Jackson. You guys like that one? Did you like that? That was my NPR voice. No, that's not my NPR voice. Ah, yes, Bakoven. Hydration check. Thank you. I don't have those set up yet. I need more followers. But this is pretty good. What? I think I'm at 16. Oh, thank you. I'm at 17 now. And this is 19? What happened? I'm confused. Well, that's what that says because I didn't fix it. Some people unfollowed me because they only followed me because they wanted me to pay for a VTuber model that I cannot afford because I am poor. But yeah, this is stream number 2. That's pretty good. Thank you so much for the follow though. Anyway, okay. 2 years ago, Mercy Gray was hailed as a hero for saving lives during a mall shooting. She still carries souvenirs from that from. Ugh, why am I awful at this today? She still carries souvenirs from that fragment of a bullet lodged in her back, a mountain of medical debt, and a guilt for ignoring her sister's warning that the sweet boy next door was anything but. Here we go. Yeah, I did a whole paragraph. So when billionaire turned TV host Damon Dare, that name, recruits Mercy to compete on his new survivalist reality show, she can't turn down the chance at the whopping cash prize that could send her sister to college. But when she and the other contestants arrive at the off-grid location, something isn't right. The set is empty, the gates close without warning, trapping them inside, and then one of them turns up dead. What appeared at first to be a tragic accident quickly transforms as more contestants start dropping like flies. With time and resources running low, surviving this show takes a whole new meaning. Mercy must figure out who to trust before she's next. It's actually a good clue that garbage writing is a feature in this book. Okay, a little bit. Yeah, no, Holly Jackson is also on there. That is a pretty good clue for me, to be honest. Oh, I shouldn't say things like that. Oh, yeah, shock indicators. That's true. Now, the thing is that I think that that was done to be, like... how do I... The Damien Dare character is kind of a Bear Grylls character with, who just has a YouTube channel. It's Bear Grylls if Bear Grylls was only a content creator. And, like, he's supposed to be somebody that they don't really take very seriously and have, like, misgivings about. So I think that was the reason why he was given that name. Because he's supposed to be kind of like a joke. Or you're supposed to read him as a joke. And also, remember, this is a young adultish novel. It's like in that cusp area. So it's allowed to be a little hokey, I think. I give passes on that because I think that it's helpful, especially for young readers who are reading things like this, to have those indicators of, like, this is who this person is, so that they can get used to it. It might be like talking down to them, but, like, let's remember who are, like, who was typically reading something in this age bracket. You're either going to have somebody who's younger, like in that, like, 15 to, I'd say 15 to 17 age range, or somebody much older, like in my age range, which we will not be saying out loud, or even older, like people. The biggest consumer of young adult novels is actually women in their 40s. It's literally a dog whistle for people who on the hunt for authors who won't take themselves seriously, and you will probably enjoy the looser form of writing. Yeah. R.L. Stein's Goosebumps. Yeah, same. But I think that, like, this was done well in that it was, I don't know, every time they said his name, I kept on thinking of that character in Critical Role. I cannot remember his name. Something Darrington. That's why their games publisher name is Darrington Press. It's from this character. But regardless, I kept on thinking of him. He's like an adventure. If he was around in modern times and not in Exandria, he would be a content creator who made, like, fake adventure things. The sort of like Gilderoy Lockhart. I hate using J.K. Rowling, but like it's the only thing I can reach for right now. But it's like that kind of character where they're like saying more than they actually are. They're all talk, no actual action. I kept thinking about that guy though from Darrington in Critical Role. Yeah, the wannabe Charlton. Yeah, it was that was basically what he was, and that was what a lot of the contestants thought. Except for some of them were like diehard believers in this guy. And then it was pretty cool because there was like a trans character who was really like it was kind of just like mentioned that he was trans, and then they were just like the end. And he doesn't die, I don't think. I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while since, well, it's been a few books. It hasn't been that long since I read this, but like I go through books so quickly some of the times I don't feel like I digest them all. Lockhart was the most interesting character that came out of Harry Potter. Yeah, I would probably agree with that. Um, I don't I don't want to talk about Harry Potter anymore. It's too volatile. I just don't want to. After I just talked about the trans character in this book. It was pretty cool though. It was nice to have a trans character. Um, that it wasn't made into a big deal that he was trans. It was just like something that was mentioned offhandedly that he was trans and that he had some trauma with family members not really accepting him or something like that. Or maybe his family did accept him. I can't remember. Sometimes they do that. They like mix it up. And yeah, no, but it I thought that it was like a really refreshing way to have a trans character in a book, which again is why we love Kate Alice Marshall. Let's go ahead and work on the review. I'm so bad at this. Yeah, let's say it's adventurous. It was dark. I wouldn't say it was emotional or funny. Maybe a little mysterious. We'll go ahead and can I click it? Maybe. Not relaxing, not said. We'll go ahead and say tense because it was a thriller. Phew. My favorite. I want to. I agree with what you said, but I also just don't want to talk about it anymore. How would you rate the pace of this book? Right. Slow, medium, fast. So it wasn't slow. I guess I'll go with medium. It's hard. It was between medium and fast. Is this book mainly plot or character driven? I would say a mix. Because it was a lot of plot, but the character definitely had to go through some stuff and deal with their own demons in order to get through a lot of this. Another comment that was pretty good. I'm covering you guys up so badly, but I don't care. Am I a bad person? I forgot. But I like being big. I'll need to fix that. I'm not gonna do that right now though. I could be small. I can be small. Should I be small? Look at me, I'm small. Oh, I forgot that that's also set up to be back. Look, I'm tiny now. Now we can see the chat. Okay, anyway. Is there a strong development? Character development. Is there strong? I would say yes, there was strong character development. And this time not towards a negative place. What are they doing outside of my apartment right now? Oh my god. Somebody has like a brush and they're like cleaning something. There's a basin right outside of the apartment. So sometimes they do stuff with that. I'm glad you guys can't hear it, but like it's like the sound of a brush like scrubbing on something, and for some reason that like tickles up my spine and it makes my teeth hurt. It's like it's the same as like nails on a chalkboard for other people, which I don't actually have, but this bothers me. Oh, okay. Anyway, did you find the characters lovable? Sure, they were nice. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? Yes, finally. Okay, there was a black character in this one, and there was a trans character, and I think that the black character was the trans character. They kind of shoved it all into one person, but then there was also like I think one of the characters was like Indian, or I don't know. There was a lot of different racial backgrounds in this one, and it was a sort of an ensemble cast situation too, where there were like some key players and then also people dying. It happens. Are the flaws of the main characters the main focus of the book? Yeah, definitely. I, again, don't want to own this, so it has to be in the 3. But I would say I almost want to own it, but I don't know. I prefer her paranormal stuff. The first thing that I read from her was These Fleeting Shadows, I think. And it was another young adult one, but it was cosmic horror, and it was super cool, and lesbians. Yay! Okay. Alright, let's focus. We're going to write something. Oh my god, I wish that my eyes would open. Open. It's because of my glasses. They have a thick frame here. The same question to me. Yes, one was cool, one died. I cared when the other one died. There was someone annoying. Why did they have to drag out those lines? Why did they? That's why it felt weird. Oh no, editor brain got turned on. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, well, it happens. Jar Jar Binks syndrome. That's a good way to describe it. Okay. What do I want to say about this book? It was alright. That's probably not good enough. Okay, a fun cast of characters. Interesting plot movement? That's not really a good word, but we're gonna go with it. And I thought the story was just the right pace or something. Not bad. So bad. Maybe we shouldn't do that as part of this, but I don't know. How many more we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, 7 more. Oh, good for pulling out the who's gonna get grinded first games. Ooh, okay, so this one I actually, well, we might look at what the review is. So this is a reread. I read this in 2022, maybe? Does it have my rereads? Does it have my read history? Yes, it does. No? Oh, it doesn't have my date. This is all carried over from Goodreads, so it wouldn't have a date. I think it was 2022. So this one's definitely horror. It's a Chuck Wendig, who has done other stuff. I don't know. This was my first book from him. I read it because my buddy Jinx, who is maybe in chat, might not be paying attention, but that's okay. Was around, was paying attention at some point. There you are. Jinx was like, hey, I'm reading this book, and I was like, oh yeah, I read that book, and then we were trying to talk about it, and I couldn't remember anything about it because it was 2022, and I have read, I forgot what the streak was. Let's go ahead and put it back in chat. Uh, I've read 1,126 days in a row, so there's been a lot of time between, and that was in 2022 when I started that streak. So there's been time and many books in between. Not 3.1 million. That's too many. There's definitely been at least 100 books though in between when I read this. So I couldn't remember anything, and I wanted to talk to them about it. So I was like, I'll just go ahead and reread it. Let's go ahead and read the description. It'll be nice. And I'll try to keep it as spoiler free as possible, because I know you didn't finish it. Long ago, I almost said Nathan because I have been doing too much French. Long ago, Nathan lived in a house in the country with his abusive father and has never told his family about what happened there. Long ago, Maddie was a little girl making dolls in her bedroom when she saw something she shouldn't have and is trying to remember that last trauma by making haunting sculptures. Long ago, something sinister, something hungry, walked in the tunnels and the mountains and the coal mines of their hometown in rural Pennsylvania. Now, Nate and Maddie Graves are married, and they have moved back to their hometown with their son, Oliver. And now, what has happened long ago is happening again, and it is something happening to Oliver. He meets a strange boy who becomes his best friend, a boy with secrets of his own and a taste for dark magic. This dark magic puts them at the heart of a battle between good versus evil and a fight for the soul of the family and perhaps for all the world. But the Graves family has a secret weapon in this battle, their love for one another. Aww. Okay, let me see what you guys said while I was going here. You got busy or something. Yeah, that's fair. I never. Oh. Oh, because glitch you didn't have. You got it, but you never read it. I think I said I was gonna read it, but then I didn't. I have no memory of buying it. Oh no. The power of friendship unite. I love My Little Pony. At least I did. I don't know. Maybe not anymore. I haven't seen any of it in a long time. But yeah, friendship is magic. But yeah, it's one of those stories. It gives off some like good Stephen King vibes, like Stephen King before all the drugs and the Ghost Riders vibes. It before the tunnel fucking scene vibes. You know, those sort of vibes. No tunnel fucking scenes in this one. Okay, water, hold on. I did at the time really like this. I'm wondering if I would still give it a 5 after I have read a lot more now. Bag of Bones. I did not read that one. It's a book from Stephen King that matches the subject. So I read a ton of Stephen King when I was in high school and a little bit like in early college. And I'm trying to think of the like most diplomatic way to say this because I don't want people to think that like I hate Stephen King because that's not true. I just think that I was really looking for another voice in horror that was different. Hi Decassowary, we're so glad you're here. Yay! Welcome. We are reviewing books that I read for August. We're doing a book of accidents, which is a reread. Which also I did not like write a review for this one. But yeah, no, I don't hate Stephen King's or anything like that, but I was just looking for something different in horror because I mean you get like one of the guys who's like the big master of horror, and I just wanted to like expand my horizons. And then like going back, there's like things that I see in his writing that I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I read, I can't remember the name of it now, but I read one earlier this year. I finally was like, oh, I haven't read King in like years. Stephen King relies on a lot of profanity to make his characters real. Folks have to carve through a lot of that. That's true. Yes, thank you. The Outsider. I read The Outsider earlier this year, and I didn't hate it, but I called it uh Midwest dad horror. Cuz that's what it felt like. It was something that was definitely like written for like a man in his like 40, 45-year-old range, who maybe 50s, you know, he was, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that's wrong. Midwest dads need to also have their horror. And I don't think that's a problem. But like I said that, and like people did not like that I said that about Stephen King. And I was like, it's not. It's just what he was doing. It's what the vibes were given. It was given I'm not a Midwest dad. This book was not written for me. I didn't particularly enjoy it that much, but I didn't hate it, and I like got through it and had a good time, but it wasn't for me. So, you know, I would have given it a 3. Let's see. I'm gonna go up a little bit. I missed some of you guys. I read The Outside. Oh, it was totally written for my dad. Yes. I read it when it came out, and I remember liking it, but it was forgettable. So maybe it wasn't that good. Yeah, I would say it's sort of forgettable. The thing that was like memorable about it is just like the beginning scenes where it's like describing a horrific thing happening to a child, and I like, no thank you. Okay, why does Stephen King keep doing this to children? Because we talked about the tunnel fucking scene, like similar thing, only not, you know what I mean. I don't dislike Stephen King, but also it's the only thing my sister was interested in when we were teenagers, so I got to hear all about the books over and over without reading them. I'm just tired of Stephen King. Exactly. That's what I was saying earlier, is that I read a lot of it when I was younger, and I just wanted something different. It's connected to his detective series. Yes, the series was, it was definitely in that. My scroll wheel is being dumb. Fun find. Joss Whedon's short series Dollhouse last episode was based heavily on King's book Cell. No, wait, I think I picked that up and didn't actually read it. That was like a physical book that I got at a used book sale, and I tried to read a few pages of it and was like busy, so I didn't finish it. And asked the question, which was worse on that day, to answer the phone or to not answer the phone. Oh, that's kind of interesting, though. Mr. Mercedes did it too, which was the first book of the detective series. Oh, you did read the Cell? Okay, we got some Cell readings and the phone apocalypse. Okay, cool. Interesting, guys. Good. I'm glad we have some good discussions going on here. But yeah, no, my biggest take on King is that I just don't I don't think that he writes for me anymore, which is fine. I'm one person and I'm one demographic, and it's fine if an author doesn't write stuff that's for me anymore. Yeah, here we go. King was a great stepping stone for me, and I have a lot of nostalgia for his old stuff. Same. Like, somebody said that recently that they were a younger person, and they were saying, oh, I read The Dark Half, and that was my first King novel. And I'm just like, ah, yeah, the mutilation scene, so fun, wee. Yeah, we read that one together. Yeah. And my mom had a bunch. Like, I mean, I grew up in this house that had like an enormous amount of books, like a ridiculous amount of books. When my dad died, we carted out like 17 boxes of books because we were like, too many books, Dad. And he was like, you can get rid of them. They're part of the family now. Yeah, Dean Koontz was also in the same vein. I did not actually read Dean Koontz. I didn't like him. I maybe should take a look, but I don't. I mean, again, I just don't like. I I like the campy horror of that time. I just am interested in some of the newer stuff that's coming out now. I listen to the audiobook for it once a year because I'm basic like that. Yeah, I've heard that about Dean Koontz. Dean Koontz is coming in from all directions. That's true. I've heard that like there's it's kind of hit or miss with his books, which also leads me to believe that he uses a lot of ghostwriters. Also, the fact of how like the sheer volume of books that come out leads me to believe he uses a lot of ghostwriters, which again, I have nothing against. We should, ghostwriters get paid really well. I'd like to be a ghostwriter. That'd be cool, and I get to go around to my friends and be like, "Hoo hoo, I'm spooky. I'm a ghostwriter. Ooh." Yeah, Odd Thomas. I forgot that it's Teen. I forgot that that is Dean Koontz. I think it is. I don't remember though. Someone look it up. I have too many browsers open. Yeah, it is. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I should maybe give him another chance. I should maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I right now I have brother. I got my holds list at the library is a mess. It is insane what I have put this library through. And I got one. I looked at every because I wanted the audiobook to go around along with it so I could try to get through it a little quicker. And it's like I looked everywhere and it's only on Audible. They only recorded it for Audible. And so anyway, I can't get through the library and I hate that. You can totes skip him on totes. I haven't heard that one in a while. Thank you for the nostalgia. You can totes skip him though, unless you paste puppy dog eyes on the next book cover. Oh. Are there a lot of. Do the dogs live in all of the books? We'll have to look it up. In this one, dogs I think are safe. Unlike Mary, we had a dead dog. Let's go ahead and keep going on this one though. So yeah, it did remind me of some like early King times, King before all of the drugs and that car accident and you know, the things that happened to that poor man. But well, he kind of did a lot of it too. Never mind, we're not gonna get into King. We've already done enough on King. It reminded me of that, which is I think why I gave it such a high rating. It was like a 5 for me. Um, back then. I'm trying to think if it would still be a 5 because I do really like it. I did love like I love when there's like happy good times at the end and like it all comes together. And then like also like a functional family is nice, but like it talks about dysfunctional families um and like it really like hones into the concept of dysfunction in family and then like because there's like child abuse stuff going on in this, but then like also like because there's multiple um worlds, so it does that like realities, the multi-reality, thingies. Yeah, no, I just wondered if because I did give it a 5 in 2022, so I'm trying to think would I still give this a 5 or has this been downgraded because I've read a lot more books since then. especially in, 'cause obviously I read a ton of books before, but like I was reading a lot of different stuff then because they were all for school. I was in college for a really long time. Wait. He doesn't kill dogs. At least I don't remember any. Oh, was a dog that was a guardian angel. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, the typo is a little. That one's a pretty funny typo. Well, that might be a fun guardian angel to have. I don't know. Oh no, sorry, I laughed too hard. I'm just picturing it with wings and a halo, though. Okay. Let's go ahead. Let's see. I don't think I have like an actual review, so we can edit the review and add in some information. Spell check be doing that sometimes. What did it do to me recently that was pretty funny? I was just trying to say somebody's name and they like have a strange name and it made it into a normaler name. So this one, a bit dark, very emotional. Very emotional. I'm almost hopeful, but I kind of don't want to put it there. Mysterious? Oh, I didn't see. Hello, Mirror. Welcome in. Happy to have you here. I didn't even notice that we had glitch emotes going on here. Okay, wait. I'm good at keeping my attention going up. Oh, thank you for staying with us, and also thank you for the follow. Have a good day. Okay. Where am I going with this? Mysterious, sort of. Reflective, no. Relaxing, no. Sad, not really, but tense, yes. We'll go ahead and give it a little mysterious tag. Why not? We'll do that. I would definitely say this is medium paced. Is this plot? Is it plot driven or character driven? Jinx, what do you think? You read most of it, I'm assuming. It's kind of. I guess it's a little bit of a mix because there is a lot of character development happening, but there's so many characters. It's a huge cast of characters, so it's sort of hard to like focus in. Like you have your main three, you have Nat, Maddie, and Oliver. But there's also like all these side characters who are really interesting. Oh, that's like a good point, is that the side characters are really well developed in this. But all of them had to like do some introspection and stuff like that in order for the plot to move. But then they were also just reacting to things that were happening to them. Okay, yeah, no, that's fair. I'll go character driven too. Is there strong character development? Well, yes, indeed there is. Absolutely. Did you find the characters lovable? Yes. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? Yeah. I mean, yeah. But I'm just thinking, like, okay, there's one black guy. Ollie is a little bit something. I don't know. And I get gay vibes off this kid, but he's just a kid, so. So, yeah, you know, we'll say it is. It sort of is. Not like super diverse, but there's some diversity going on in there. So that's better than not. I wish there was like a little. Are the flaws of the main characters the main focus of the book? I'm gonna say it's complicated, I think. Because I think that that's a huge part of the book, but like there's more going on than that. Unfortunately, the bar is so that it is in fact diverse. Yeah, that is really that is the case going on here. It's there's a black guy in it, guys, and he has a I think his wife is black too. There's a black couple, so therefore, and they made a baby in this. The baby was born too, so now there's a black baby. That's three whole black people in this small town in rural Pennsylvania. Super diverse. I'm gonna keep the 5 star rating because I think I love, maybe I don't know. If it's not a 5, it's a 4.75. I guess we'll keep it. They deserve it. Maybe not. They're not exactly like a struggling author or anything like that. I think that they do pretty well. So what do we want to say about this? I want to say that really good cast of characters. Even the supporting characters were well developed. The story flowed nicely at a good pace, and the way mysteries were discovered was organic and fulfilling to decipher. How did I fuck that one up? I missed an L! Love it! We'll put an exclamation point. We get 1 exclamation point per review. We only get 1. You gotta use it well. You can't put too many exclamation points. That's what all my editors tell me. And I'm like, I'm just an excitable person. Yeah. But then they tell me I have to take my exclamation points out. It makes me sad. It's okay though. It's fine. We're not gonna do. No, I didn't want to add content warnings. We'll just update the review. It's fine. No, we only get 1. We have to be better at communicating with our ideas and less exclamation points. The Anyone have any ideas? I'm assuming it's har. I didn't look it up. I meant to. But the har by David Sodergren. Isn't that interesting? That cover art. That's what pulls you in. So I picked this book because there was a I think it was a TikTok. I don't know. It might have been a YouTube short. One of those. There was a short form content video, vertical video that I watched that was like, these are books that are fucked up. Sorry. It sounds like a weird like laugh. I didn't mean to laugh that hard at it, but it got me. I don't know. It just sort of tickled me. Yeah, no. I figured. It could be true though. I don't know, but I think it's the har. But yeah, I saw this on a TikTok or something where they were talking about how books that were just fucked up that they had read recently, and I was like, ooh, I like fucked up. And so I put them all into like my TBR basically, I think on Goodreads, and like this came up and I was like, oh, okay, this is a good time to read it. It is short. It's 206 pages, which is real short for me, but I still took too long on it because I was not feeling good that day. Well, days. I read it for like 3 days. It was like ridiculous how long it took me to get through this one, which is not like it. It was a good book. I liked it. But usually, if it takes me a long time to get through it, it's because I'm slogging. No, I just wasn't feeling good. It's probably like I started it on a game day, and when we have game days, I'm like tired afterwards. So you get like 30 pages out of me before I start falling asleep. Description. So this one's kind of like if I were to say what kind of genre this is, it's horror, obviously, body horror, but also romance and maybe a little bit monster fuckery. I don't know. Who's to say? Yeah, but no, it was really good. Let's go ahead and read the description. Not exactly like it is a I would say that it is a little bit of a stretch to call this monster fucker stuff smut. Like there's the sex happens in it, and there is a monster and the sex does happen with the monster. Okay, well, I'm not really it's I would say that if you are like trying to get into this because you like monster fucker content and you read this, I think you would be disappointed. But monster fucking happens. Monster fucker adjacent. Yes, we'll go with that. Okay. I don't fear death, but they do. God, every time I try to read one of these, it is bad. Thank you for the tentacles. This is the perfect time for it. Especially with this one. Muriel Macaulay, there we go, has lived in the Scottish fishing village of Witchhaven all her life. She was born there, and she intends to die there. She's like 87? Something like that. In her 80s. But when an overseas property developer threatens to evict the residents from their homes and raze Witchhaven to the ground in the name of progress, all seems lost until a mysterious fog bank creeps inland. Ooh. Also, the progress that we're talking about here is a golf, like a golf resort. So there may be some commentary going on here. Maybe a little commentary of current political figures. Who knows? Yeah. It's basically that. Yeah. That's what's going on here. The har, to some it brings redemptions, to other it only brings madness and death. What macabre secrets lie within? The har, romantic and deranged. The har is a gore-soaked folk fairy tale from David Sodergren, author of The Forgotten Island and Maggie's Grave, which I have not read. I've never read anything from this person before. So, that was that. Yeah, no, it's so good. And I love that the kid. Okay, so I was talking earlier because Mary, which was the first book we did, was written about a 50-year-old woman, right? And this one is a woman in her 80s. And so, like, I just really am finding myself really loving characters who are really outside of the norm of characters that you tend to read. Because, like, like popular books right now, your characters are anywhere from the ages of, I'd say, like 25 to 30, maybe 40. And so it's really unusual to see somebody who's older than that um like be the main character. Or like if you get like a younger person, there's also like Incidents Around the House. Don't remember the author off the top of my head. Did anybody recognize that one? It is popular. It came out last year. And that one is actually an adult horror novel, but it's written through the eyes of a child, which was super cool. I read that in like a day. So it's an easy read, but it was also like spooky and fun kind of. Incidents Around the House. Yeah, Josh Malerman, thank you. It was really good. Would recommend it. I think I've read other things from him. Uh can you look up for me if Josh Malerman also did a Western? I think he did. Does it count if they start out as old but then get younger anyway partway through for some reason? I mean, honestly, I think that's interesting. Yeah, are we Benjamin Buttoning over here? Or the other way around? No, wait. Yes, that is how that worked, wasn't it? I don't remember. I only saw the book. Oh, it's a Stephen King book. Of course it is. But remember, we want more than just King in our lives. We need a diverse set of authors, which we should be reading black authors. So we need you guys should have hung out with me during Black History Month. It was a lot easier to find these authors back then. But we have, Tananarive Due is a great one. Did he do a Western? I'm trying to bring it up too on my phone. I'm doing a bad job. I'm trying to talk and also do things, and I'm not doing good. I can't remember the name of it, which is where the problem is lying. And I also read it a really long time ago. So the one that you were looking at, Then Things Fell Apart, is the only one I know that was written by a black author. I don't think I've read that one. Wait a minute, let me bring this up because I'm gonna be mad at myself if I can't remember. We're gonna scroll way back. I wrote about it too, which is why I'm really annoyed that I can't remember it. You think if I just like go into my library and search for Josh Malerman, I'll look up Josh Malerman. Yeah, here we go. Yes, Unbury Carroll is the one that I was thinking of. That was by him. So Unbury Carroll was another Josh Malerman that was pretty good. That one's a Western. Female lead. It's a woman who dies sometimes. she accidentally dies a little bit, but like she's not actually dead. Her body just sort of goes into like this weird sort of coma thing. It's a I want to say no, sorry. No, that's not what I wanted. Don't purchase it. I can't afford it. I just want to look at it. Can I please just Sorry. No, it won't let me do it. Okay. Yeah, no, it really is. It's about a woman who dies sometimes, sort of. She kind of like goes into a coma and she's still alive and she breathes really shallowly, so it kind of just like appears like she's dead. And it was in like I want to say it was 18th century, but I can't remember. It was like 18th or maybe like early, might have been 1800s too. So 18 was involved at some point with it. Don't remember though. Um, but yeah, no, it's really good. Um, he does interesting stuff. But I really love when they do when the characters are different, and women characters are really common in horror right now because there's a really big surgence of like feminist lady horror, and you see it with like even authors I really love mm, like Riley Sager does a lot of it, and the one who did, what is his name, I can't even remember the name of the book right now, the Southern Wives book club vampire book. Am I making any sense? You know what I'm talking about. Thank you. This is why you're here. The Southern Wives book club vampire hunters. Southern book club's guide to slaying vampires. Let's do that. Yeah, the Southern book club's guide to slaying vampires. Grady Hendrix. Oh god, that was gonna drive me crazy. I love Grady Hendrix books, but like, um, it is definitely in that genre of like lady female led feminist leaning horror, and I think that it is a becoming a tired genre, and a lot of people are moving themselves into it, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but I do kind of think that it's becoming really saturated. So it's so refreshing when we finally get things that are kind of similar. Like, it's still female led, which is nice, but it's really cool that the woman who is leading this one is in her 80s and is like, I'm about to die. YOLO. Let's get murderous, I guess. And also monster fuckery. Yeah, monster fucking with an 80-year-old. It was weird. Um and there was a lot of disturbing stuff with it. I sent, I think I have a screenshot I can't pull up, but I could read to you a piece from it if I can find it. It's from a little while ago. Albums. Screenshots. Here we go. Are you prepared? I got it. Alright, yeah, it's the one that I sent you though. So this was from page 77 of the Har. Tommy screamed and screamed and screamed. He remembered the lighter in his pocket. The thing was almost there. So he shoved his remaining hand in and pulled it out. It lit first time, but when the enormous white eye opened and stared right at him, Tommy dropped the lighter in terror. He screamed again, and then his voice abandoned him as cold slime squirmed up his arsehole. He clenched his cheeks and reached his hand into the back of his trousers, grabbing the membranous cord with a tight fist and yanking hard on it. It was attached to something inside him. He tugged harder, feeling the pressure on his guts until, with one final Herculean pull, his bowels tore wide open, releasing a flood of warm shit that spurted from between his clenched cheeks. As Tommy's internal organs started to liquefy, he emptied a thin, high-pitched whine. Through the translucent skin of the creature, he could see his penis crumbling into pieces and drifting through the murky body of the thing that clung to him, destroying him, killing him. "My cock!" he shouted. "My fucking cock!" As the words went. As last words went, they may not have been profound, but they certainly were appropriate. Yay! Good morning, everybody. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with. That's why I got the this is fucked up. That's why it was in that TikTok. And there was more. That was the first kill. That was the first kill, so it escalated. So 5 stars. Honestly, maybe. I don't know. Let's go ahead and go through that though. So, was it adventurous? Sort of, but I don't think enough to say. It was very dark, maybe a little emotional, hopeful, informative, inspiring. I can't. Whenever we go through one of these and I'm like informative or inspiring, I hope not. Lighthearted, mysterious, no. Reflective, kind of, but not really. Sad, a little bit. It was kind of sad with like her reminiscing about her husband because the Har appears to her as her late husband. So there was a lot of that, and it was sort of sad. Okay, we'll do some sad. It was really good though. Oh my god, it was so good. How would you rate the pace of this book? Fast. It was 200 pages, and it was a lot. That man's performance on his junk disintegrating was truly Academy Award winning. It was very inspiring. Is this book mainly plot or character driven? We'll go with a mix. Is there a strong character development? She's 80. So not really. Like, she really knows who she is and is like okay with that. Did you find the characters lovable? Yes, I would like her to be my grandma. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? It's Scotland. No. Are the flaws of the main characters the main focus of the book? Kinda. We'll say it's complicated again. And then for the star rating. So definitely I want a copy of this book because I did like it a lot. And it was just like a really good one. And anything that is that level of like, this is fucked. I kind of want to be able to be like, here, you should read this and hand it to somebody. Oh yeah, the 80-year-old women characters aren't common, but diverse, not really. Is it a 5-star? I think it might be. I think we're gonna give. I don't give 5 stars very much anymore. We're gonna do it though. We're gonna pull it because it was so cute and it was sweet and it gave me warm, happy feelings. And then also there was that scene I just read to you, which was really like whoa. So you know you got a little bit of that, and you also got some sweet happies and cuteness, and also just being like, this monster is manipulating you, Muriel. You might wanna like watch yourself, but then it ended up all nice and cute. I highly recommend this book. You guys should read it. Now I have to figure out how to take that spaghetti of slime that I just... Oh, I maybe shouldn't say slime right now. But you know, the word vomit that just came forth from my mouth that I just said into coherent thoughts for this review. Okay. For the amount of blood and anal probing, it was really sweet. And I would definitely read again. It should have a proud spot on my bookshelf. Bookshelf is probably better as one word. And there we go. Alright, thank you, the Har. We only have a couple more. Now we're kind of getting into like spots where now I can really remember the books. Because it's not that long ago. If You See Her by Enya Alborn, which I have read, I think, 2 other books from this author. I read, I don't know, they kind of do, I would say this is like basic bitch horror. Basic bitch paranormal horror is kind of their thing, and none of them end up happy. I kind of think one of them I read earlier this year was also part of that this is fucked up TikTok. Was, I think it was called Brother, and it was pretty fucked up, but I don't know, it was just like a serial killer family situation, so it wasn't that big. And then like this one was definitely more paranormal, which I prefer paranormal stuff. And there was a ghost and a haunted house, and you know, I kind of sick of haunted houses because it's a big trope in horror. But this one was kind of cool. It spanned a multi-year sort of thing and generations, and but no happy endings in sight. So if you need a happy ending for your scary stories, I probably would avoid this author because she doesn't do that. Let's go ahead and read the description. The house on Old Mill Road has stood in an open field for longer than Jesse Wells has been alive. Its crooked windows and jutting turrets tormenting the kids of Warsaw, Michigan, the way only a haunted house knows how. Everyone imagines that something terrible lurks within the house's abandoned rooms, especially Jesse and his 2 closest friends, Casey and Reed. But when Reed chooses the house as a backdrop for his own suicide, childhood ghost stories are transformed into a nightmare that sends Jesse into a downward spiral of grief. Yikes. Nearly 20 years later, Jesse stands on the collapsing steps of the house that snatched away his best friend. Casey has asked him to revisit their old demons, if only to help them find closure that's long overdue. But tragedy finds them once more, and Jesse is left forever changed. Now left to cope with the disaster that had become his life, Jesse must unravel the mystery behind the house that has terrified him since he was a boy. To fail is to lose everything he has left, but success might come at an even higher price. Alright, that kind of reminds me of some stuff with this. So this one was kind of like haunted house with like The Ring sort of stipulations going on in it. So it was kind of like, oh hey, we're, you know, a haunted house, wee. And you come in, and if you see her, the ghost, woo, you got like a set period of time to be alive before she gonna get ya. It's sort of what was going on there. So I don't know how I feel about it. Again, I it's basic bitch horror, and I think it's a really good primer if you aren't into horror but you want to get involved in it, and you know, just want some basic ghost stories to start you out on. I think that this is a pretty good author to start with, and some of them are really interesting. And like, again, you know, maybe you just want some basic bitch horror in your life. I don't know, you do you. Sometimes I've read 3 of her books. So obviously I do sometimes. Also, sometimes I'm just like, I know that these books are going to be short and easy to read, and I need something to fill in while I am waiting for a hold to come through at my library. Kind of reminds me of that movie that Daniel Radcliffe starred in with the Lady in Black. I don't know what you're talking about, unfortunately. But if anybody knows, fill us in. We could read this too. This is an AI thing. Slow burn dread. That's true. Claustrophobic atmosphere and emotionally devastating character studies over gore or jump scares. Meant to be haunted long after the final page. It was pretty scary, I guess. Wasn't it just called Lady in Black? I didn't watch it. I don't watch movies. I don't have the attention span for it. I don't have the attention span for it. She says she has read for thousands of days. Well, over 1,000 days. My eyes get to track words and it keeps my brain occupied. Otherwise, it goes off into thinking about other stuff, and then I get lost, and then I don't know what I'm doing, and I get bored watching a movie. Anyway, this book would be for someone who is in the mood for something dark again. I almost want to say emotional, but I don't know. That's just because there's like conversations about grief. Yeah, we'll go ahead. It's not even spark joy situation. I should read it out loud. Reading spark joy. Movie does not spark joy. That's not. It's not the spark joy situation for me. It's just my brain lately in the last probably like year or so has just been like really struggling to pay attention to something like that. I need it to be like a little bit longer. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, for you. Yeah, that's fine. Sometimes movie is fun. Like if I go to the cinema, wow. Sorry. Just sometimes I say things and it's just French. If I go to the movie theater, I'm really into it and I can like pay attention a little bit easier. But like if I'm just at home, which is where I tend to be all the time now, it's just really hard for me to get into the mindset to be like, I'm gonna pay attention to this. Yeah, I know. I got really Europeanized. Okay. Is it sad? It's a little sad. And we'll go with tense. Okay. I would say that this is more of a slow-paced one, but it's not that slow because it is kind of a short book. But we'll go slow. It's like it's a medium slow. Is this plot or character driven? This is plot driven for sure. Is there strong character development? I would say not. Did you find the characters lovable? No. I kind of find the characters forgettable. Would you say that the cast of characters is diverse? Nope. Are the flaws of the main characters a main focus of the book? Ooh, bye Jinx. Have a good rest. Have good work tonight. I'll see you Wednesday. Wednesday is game day. I think we're playing Phasmophobia again. I will not be streaming it because I don't think my computer can stream Phas, but you can watch either of my besties. Let me put them up. And you could follow any of these guys, and they will be probably streaming it, and you can watch from there. Yeah, give my friends money. Sometimes they give me money, mostly to buy games, so that we can play together. Are the flaws of the main characters a main focus of the book? Not really. I don't think so. I mean, kind of, but not. I mean, it's complicated. And then here, so I don't want this book, so it has to be a 3 or less. I don't think it was awful, but I do think it was mediocre. So we're gonna do a 3, and you don't get any more than that. Let's see. Basic horror premise, but that is not a problem. It's a good primer, or her primer, good primer for anyone interested in getting into horror, but might be a little tired if you are already well read in the genre. There we go. That was easy. Mediocre. That's correct. Oh, we're not that good. Yeah, we're not good at. Let me be very clear about our Faz abilities here. We are not good. And we're even worse now because we don't remember how to play. We played last week and we were like, "Wait, what is going on?" And we guessed the ghost wrong on multiple occasions, and I did not run away from a hunting ghost. I didn't realize it was hunting. You get 3 stars and you don't get any more than that. You're scolding the book. Adorable. Well, I mean, I'm not scolding it. It's not, it doesn't deserve more. And then we're gonna see. Look at us. We're doing so well, guys. It's 5 o'clock here. I started at 3. I wanted to go for 3 hours, and we have 4 books left, so we are right on track, I think. Yeah, okay. Does anybody remember Chuck Tingle before he started writing serious books? Anybody? Like, we all used to gather around and look at Chuck Tingle books and laugh at how ridiculous they were. It was parody porn stuff, just ridiculous things. But they were, I mean, we got a copy of the Manafort one, the Manafort Fort. I remember reading that one in a dorm room. Anyway, so Chuck Tingle has been doing more serious horror stuff in recent days. And this one just came out this month sometime, or last month. I don't remember when. And I would love to have a career like Chuck Tingle. Me too. Chuck Tingle, my beloved. Yes, we are fans. Um Anyway, so I haven't read Camp Damascus yet, but I have the audiobook from the library just now, so I'm probably gonna read that next month at some point. I got a couple of other things that I have to get done before that, but you know, I'm reading a new book every 4 days mostly, so I'll get to it. He's like a real life VTuber because he's not able to be recognized unless he wants to be. Anyway, all of his books are kind of short. This one's 228 pages. 228 pages of great, in my personal opinion. I read Bury Your Gaze, I think in January or February, and it was very good. I was kind of impressed and surprised, honestly, because I did not know what he was capable of. And I really love the multifaceted the layers of complexity going on in that book, and the themes and meaning going on. And this one, I feel like, is no different. But the big thing that like I took away from this is this Lucky Day is this story about um a personification of luck being a monster. And it sort of is done in this way where what's really happening here is that this is a story about the fear and the uncertainty and the roll of the dice that you take when you're coming out, because you don't know if it's going to be a moment of joy, if it's going to be a moment of pain, if it's going to end in happiness, heartbreak, or even violence. And I think that that is what is at the core of this book, along with other themes, including like family dynamics, fear of relationships and control of your life, and then like also bi erasure, which I just thought was just so like bi erasure both in like cis heteronormative people who will like look at a bi person and be like, that's not real, but also within the gay community. And like, I don't know, I just had a really good time with that. So yes, Lucky Day was really good. I think it was better than Bury Your Gaze in my personal opinion. It might just be that I read it more recently, but I had a good time with it. Anyway, let's go ahead and read the description real quick. 4 years ago, an unthinkable disaster occurred in what was later known as the low probability event. 8 million people were killed in a single day, each of them dying in improbable, bizarre ways. Strangled by balloon ropes, torn apart by exploding manhole covers, attacked by chimpanzee wielding typewriter, by a chimpanzee wielding typewriter. Wielding a typewriter. I am missing all of the A. Sorry. I had to approve that one. They're like, I don't know. Let me go back here. 8 million people were killed in a single day, each of them dying in improbable, bizarre ways. Strangled by balloon ropes, torn apart by exploding manhole covers, attacked by a chimpanzee wielding a typewriter. A day of freak accidents that proved anything is possible, no matter the odds. Luck is real now, and it's not always good. Vera, a former statistics and probability professor, lost everything that day, and she still struggles to make sense of the unbelievable catastrophe. To her, the LPE proved that the god of order is dead and nothing matters anymore. When Special Agent Lane shows up on Vera's doorstep, she learns that he's investigating a suspiciously and statistically impossibly lucky casino. He needs her help to prove that the casino's success is connected to the deaths of millions, and it's Vera's last chance to make sense of the world that doesn't. Because what's happening in Vegas isn't staying there, and she's the only thing that stands between the world and another deadly improbability. Oh yeah, it is a pretty good one. I think it was really interesting. I really like Bury Your Gaze, and our taste often overlaps, so I'm excited for better. Yeah, I think you might like this one too. A chimpanzee wielding typewriter would also be pretty terrifying. How would it even do that? This is a low improbability day, you know? I really like this one. I keep saying that. I feel like I've said that 32 times today, even though there's only 10 books. But it was good. Like I said, the biggest thing that I took away from this was the at its core, it was really about that fear and uncertainty and the luck that surrounds your story of coming out to somebody, because you don't know how they're gonna react, and it is terrifying. And I think that the main character is just terrified by anything that she's not. Once she realizes that she can't statistically figure out the probability of something happening, she is like deers in the headlights. She just freezes up, and her whole entire life sort of goes in that direction. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and give this one a rating. So I wouldn't say it was challenging exactly. It was definitely dark. I think it was emotional. It was a little bit hopeful at the end, but not enough to probably put that in there. Maybe mysterious? I don't know. Definitely tense though. Okay. A little sad too, but I don't really want to go. Yeah, we'll put it in. Why not? Why not? Nobody's gonna come for us for saying it was sad. It was a little sad. How would you rate the pace of the book? Medium. Is the book mainly plot or character driven? I'd say a mix on this one. Strong character development, yes, because our main character needs to learn how to deal with not being able to know what's gonna happen, which is hard. And I relate to that. Did you find the characters lovable? Yes. I would date that bisexual woman, I would indeed. Did she say the cast of characters is diverse? I think they were all white, but they were gay, so is that diversity? What do you guys think? I think everybody is busy. I think it's diverse. Okay, alright. Gay is diverse, okay. Well, yeah, no. Okay, my husband's back, so now he's listening to me. He was taking a shower before, which tells you how long he takes showers for. Oh my god. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm proud of you. He's saying that because if everybody is gay in the book, does that mean that being gay is no longer diverse? Not in this context, because it wasn't talking about the diversity within the book, but the diversity within the larger canon of literature. So we're gonna go with yes, because gay means diverse. Are the flaws of the main character a main focus of the book? Yeah, sure, why not? Right, okay, we already know we're gonna do another 5. I'm a little looser with the 5s when I'm doing it with you guys. Yeah, let's see. What should we review? How should we review? Good book. No. Well developed characters with engaging flaws and fears to work through. We'll do the at its core. I believe this is a book about the fear and uncertainty around coming out as a queer person. And I think that it does a great job of manifesting that fear into a monster known as luck. Nice. This is Storygraph, which is what I primarily use now instead of Goodreads. It is a smaller owned thing. I think that I don't remember, but I remember people saying that it's a woman owned platform that is like it's a black woman maybe, but don't quote me on that because I don't remember and I didn't actually look it up. But I do like I'll show you later that you can like get graphics for your month of what all you read, and you can get like all kinds of like graphs, and it shows you like themes that you're more into, how many pages you read, stuff like that. It's really interesting. We'll look at it later. Alright, save. Next we have another one that I got on Kindle Unlimited because it looked like it was going to be short and easy to read, and I was waiting for a hold to come out at my library. Woo! So yeah, I just picked it because it came with an audiobook too, so I could just kind of like put it on like 2.5 speed and like get through it real quick, and I did because I read it in a day. So like I have problems with this one, but it was, you know, engaging and entertaining. So yeah, this one I would say is more of a thriller than a horror. It is it does have many dead bodies though. So lots of what are those called again? Why can't I remember anything that I'm trying to say? What is going to be here? Trigger warnings, content warnings on this one, because it has to do with uh, child trafficking, and there's no depictions of abuse really, but there is mentions of abuse. There's no depictions of SA, but it is kind of hinted at. So that's not you know, that's not for everyone. But like, I kind of was thinking this was going to be more like a flowers in the attic situation, but I literally read the title, and it was not. But it was still like pretty good and entertaining in that sort of like Law and Order Special Victims Unit sort of way. You know what I mean? So yeah, I did read it really quickly in a night. Let's go ahead and read our description. Jillian thought that she knew her husband. They'd been married for 20 years, but she doesn't know him at all. Sorry. Jillian Harper thought moving to a quiet little town in Montana would be the fresh start her family needed. Charming farmhouse, friendly neighbors, and endless open fields. It was supposed to be perfect. Until the bodies are found. Buried deep on their land, hidden for years. The police are everywhere. The town is whispering, and Tucker, her devoted husband, is acting strange. He won't tell her where he was all day. He won't explain why his phone was off, and worst of all, he won't meet her eyes. Your first mistake was moving to Montana. Yes. But the truth is far worse than she imagined. An exhilarating blend of hold on, I need to yell louder for this one. An exhilarating blend of breathtaking suspense and nail-biting tension with a shattering final twist by a New York best-time-selling author. Okay. Perfect for fans of Frida McFadden, John Mars, A.L. Tor, Shari. There's too many. That's like 10. Pick 3. Pick, if you're gonna say your comps, you get 3. What are you doing? This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. That's double the amount you should have. I want. Okay. Anyway. I also read a John Mars book that I did not like. Maybe this is just not for me. This is probably one of those not for me situations. Okay. So my biggest thing with this, we'll say it was dark. We'll go ahead and give it adventurous because it did like it was entertaining in that way that it is. Tense. And then definitely medium pace. Okay. My big issue with this book is that it depicts how the exploitation of minors and human trafficking happens in a way that it just does not happen. They find these trailers on their property that are filled with bodies, and it's like all connected. They keep on finding these like stashes of mass graves, we'll say. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not saying that there's no loss of life when it comes to this sort of thing, but like it's not usually like why would they be getting rid of their stock like that in that amount, in that number? And that's not really how that happens, and we know that. And also, it was like one of the characters, the investigator character, her her sister went missing, and um so that's like her driving whatever for like trying to find out who this is and how they are like she's like really close to finding the guy, and that's like her driving force of why she's doing this. And then Jillian, the main character, her best friend, her childhood best friend, also went missing and like was picked up like on her way home, walking home in the dark one night. And that's just like not really how this happens. It really like gives this idea that a lot of the way that this works is by, like taken sort of situations, and we like just know for a fact that that's not really how it happens. And I get really annoyed with pieces of media that talk about a really serious subject like trafficking in a way to fearmonger for how it doesn't happen. And we should be talking about the ways that it does happen, because it is happening even in America, even in, progressive European places. It does happen, but it's not by it's not by being picked up by a stranger, at least not mostly. Like the majority of it is a family member or getting really close to a victim and um, manipulating them and gaslighting them and all the things. So like we should not be perpetuating this idea that this is how this happens and fear mongering. And like, yeah, it was entertaining, but like I don't know. I don't think that it was good because of that. And then also another thing that really bothered me about this book was that it started off in the beginning. There was like a little part about content warnings, and its content warning was like, this is a serious subject that deals with things that are uncomfortable, but I'm not actually going to tell you what you should expect. And I'm like, okay, if your content warning is going to complain about the fact that some books have content warnings ahead of them, don't fucking put the content warning in your goddamn book. I don't want to read your complaints. Who cares? Mm. like like just don't put one in. Just don't put one in. You don't have to put one in if you're not going to put one in. Would have I would have liked to have known that these were going to be like these specific subject matters were going to be discussed in the severity of them. Like, am I going to see something? Is it going to be described in a horrific way, or are we just going to see like a hint of it? That's why the content warnings exist in there, so you can prepare yourself for like what you're about to get yourself into. And I understand that some people don't want to do that, and that's fine. I'm not here to tell them how to write their book. Well, other than if you're gonna not put in a content warning, don't put in a content warning to complain about other people who put in a content warning. Anyway, let's keep going. Is this book mainly plot or character driven? Yeah, I don't want to. I'm just gonna NA all this because I just want to get to the thing where I'm like, it wasn't that good. Okay. How would I rate this? Honestly, we're not gonna give it a bad one, but it is gonna be in the 2. And we're also going to give them, we'll give them a 0.5 because, again, like I said, it was entertaining. It did its job as a book. But I disagree with some of the big picture things going on in this book. So that's what we're going to say. Entertaining. No, that is not how you spell that. Entertaining. For sure. But I have serious reservations with any media that depicts endangerment and trafficking situations in false narratives, we'll say. And this is not how we'll fix the typo in a minute. This is not how this is not how human happens, and the spreading of this information, we'll say the spreading of this narrative actively harms the maybe the movements out there attempting to spread reliable information on this. Also, if you aren't going to actually give a content warning, don't have a section about about content warnings. Okay. Before I get too mad, we're gonna fix that typo. Here we go. And save. Yeah. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this trash that I read in a day, and we're gonna get some other sort of trash. It's not really. This one was okay. The Devil and Mrs. Davenport. Honestly, I said it was trash, but it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was actually kind of cute. Actually, no. I was thinking I need to take a tiny little break. You really drink a whole bunch of water, and I gotta pee. So everybody, let's take a little break, and I'll be right back. Oh, guess what I did? Guess what I did? Be right back, screen. I'll be right back. Okay, and we are back. Everybody back. Everybody get a snack, you get a drink. I gulped down a whole bunch of water. It is raining real hard. So, I took a painkiller. Woohoo! Meaning, give it about 15 minutes and we'll see what happens. Nice. Okay, let's get back into it, shall we? We only got this one and one. Whoa! Okay, my bad. Wait, hold on. Okay. My mic just went. It's okay. We're good. Alright, The Devil and Mrs. Davenport. I did go into this being like, I think it's gonna be garbage, but it actually, like, surprised me a little bit. I have one gripe with it, but, like, I think it's okay. I don't know. Okay, we'll get in. We'll look into it first. Let's go ahead and read the description. The best-selling author of The Witch of Tin Mountain and Parting the Veil mines the subtle horrors of 1950s America in a gripping novel about a woman under pressure from the living and the dead. Ooh. The first day of autumn brought the fever, and with the fever came the voices. Missouri, 1955. Loretta Davenport has led an isolated life as a young mother and wife to Pete, an ambitious assistant professor at a Bible college. Already, I was like, oh, okay. Like, that's all I needed to read, to be like, oh, maybe I would like this. They're the picture of domestic tranquility until a local girl is murdered and Loretta begins receiving messages from the beyond. Pete dismisses them as delusions of a fevered female imagination. Ugh. Loretta knows they're real and frightening. Defying Pete's demands, Loretta finds an encouraging supporter in a parapsychologist, Dr. Curtis Hanson. He sees a woman with a rare gift, more blessing than curse. With Dr. Hanson's help, Loretta's life opens up to an empowering new purpose. There's a lot of P's in this that are really hard to get through. Loretta's life opens up to an empowering new purpose. Oh my god. But for Pete, the God-fearing image he's worked so hard to cultivate is under threat. No longer in control of his dutiful life, he sees the devil at work. As Loretta's powers grow stronger and the pleading spirits beckon, Pete is determined to deliver his wife from evil. To solve the mysteries of the dead, Loretta must save herself. Woo! Gilly. Fun. 1950s housewife. Yeah. Also, I was like, 1955. That's when my mom was born. Also, my mom had kids later in life. So don't use that to try to age me, because you will think I'm much older than I actually am. Not like super late, but I mean, for today's standards, but back then it was kind of late. Ugh. So that's why I picked that book. Also, it just seemed interesting, and like, I have a bit of a background in conservative evangelical Christianity and Bible colleges, sort of. At least they kept trying to make me want to go to one of them. I didn't. Readers drawn to dark domestic horror. Dark domestic horror is a really good way to describe this book, honestly. Exploring the cost of awakening female power in stifling 1950s suburbia, where the whispered secrets and fevered visions collide with repressive control. Ideal if you savor tense mid-tempo pacing. richly textured period atmosphere and psychological dread over gore, and the threads of gothic romance and quiet rebellion against domestic cages, which I do like those things. So that's sort of like, yeah, again, I liked this one and I wasn't expecting much from it because, I didn't heard that much about it, and I don't know. I got some like sense of like I got like a little bit scared that it was gonna go a little too Jesus preachy direction, even though she was like defying the like strict evangelical cage. She was still um devoutly Christian, which is not something that I have a problem with, but I was a little bit concerned that it was gonna go into a route of like still a little too preachy for me. And it didn't. It ended up being okay. It ended up being pretty good. And there was like some good stuff with mental institutions. It was a little unbelievable in that I feel like the characterization of Loretta was still quite modern. Um but that was just an inkling feeling, and it was something that was really easy to get over. I'm trying to think. Like it just sort of felt like she still had like modern sensibilities, but was like being repressed in a modern age, and I don't know if it was a good representation of somebody in the 1950s per se, but it was still pretty good. The one issue that I have is that there was romance in it, and I was like walking into it feeling like, oh, it's so refreshing that there's this relationship blooming between the professor doctor guy, the parapsychologist, and Loretta, and it's not gonna be romantic. That's gonna be so nice. And then it turned romantic. And I was like, at first, like, well, isn't she a patient of him? But they keep like driving the point that he is not her doctor and they are just like colleagues of some kind. But I'm just like, okay, but they still have like a professional relationship, and so like them moving into romantic territory is kind of still unethical, but okay. I guess we're gonna do that. But then like the romance bits were still kind of like nice, like because I like romance. So, and it didn't happen all at once, and it seemed kind of like healthy that like she was getting out of this abusive marriage and he was like enabling her to find a way to make money and open a bank account and do all the things that it's really hard to do in the 1950s, and um as a woman anyway. And he was like really giving her the confidence and the like sometimes actual ability to do things that she needed to do to leave her abusive husband. And I liked a lot of that, especially like towards the end. Then it was like, oh, I really like you, but like I need some time for me and my children to figure out what life is like now. And he was like, no probs, babes, I'm gonna chill over here. And she was like, cool, I'm gonna go do some traveling or something. And then like it goes into an epilogue and they like got married and stuff like that. And sorry, spoilers, but like whatever. But yeah, that was like my one gripe, was that it just sort of felt like she was a little too modern still for the time period. And like I don't know, that relationship still feels a tiny bit unethical. But it's not like love hypothesis levels of, oh, thank you for the follow, Rosalie Neckel. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me add a review. Oh, I like that. Come on, he's so cute. That's a cute emote. Maddie, oh, thank you. That's common for a lot of historical stories now. There's like zero transgressive attitudes or behaviors by the protagonist. Yeah, I didn't like. I was a little. She again. She felt too modern. That was like my biggest thing, and like I'm not saying that everyone was like a racist in 1955, but it did seem a little bit weird that she seemed to be like, I'm from 1955 and I live in this really small town and I am just a complete progressive. Even where sometimes the writers will go way out of the way to show how modern they have. Yeah, yeah, it just. And I just like it doesn't. I don't feel like it needs to be done that way. I think of like one of the other historic pieces that I read was the that Tananarive one, Tananarive Do book that I can't remember the name of, but it was a black author. Okay, so and um, it was about 1960s Jim Crow law, a situation with a little boy, and like I feel like that was done really really well because yeah, there were white people who were sympathetic to what was going on with the black people in their neighborhoods, but they still acted like white people from that time period who lived in the South. And then I don't know, it was just done a lot better. I felt like I'm not gonna look up the name. I'm sorry. I need to focus. I'm gonna go off on another tangent. It really depends on the person, but even then, someone might not have been racist, but they could have been super homophobic without even realizing it. Exactly. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. I just think that a lot of times it's not that people weren't progressive back then, but they weren't as progressive as we are now. And I think that it's a little bit silly that they have to make this cis white heterosexual character have no flaws. The bad guys and their buddies are bigoted and the good guys are enlightened. Yes, exactly. And it just it gives white savior, you know what I mean? Oh, cutesy flaws. Yes. Maddie, you know what's up. You and I could be friends. Okay, so let's okay. Was this book adventurous? Not exactly. I mean, kind of. There was a little bit in parts of it that were, but definitely it was dark. It was emotional. I would not call it funny. I'm mysterious. I guess it was reflective for some people, but not for me. And we'll go ahead and say it was tense. I've been around that block, yeah. This is what happens when I just let my library or whatever just pops up dictate what I read that month. I just kind of read a lot of garbage, which is fine. I love garbage. Tasty garbage, delicious. How would you rate the pace of the book? Medium for sure. Is this plot or character? We'll say character. Definitely some character development going on. I did like the characters in the book, but again, I feel like this would have been a fine book to have been adapted to a modern day and it would have made more sense. But we'll go ahead and say yes for the whatever, for what it is. Would you say the cast of characters is diverse? No. Shockingly, I would not. Are the flaws of the main characters a main focus of the book? Sort of. I'm gonna go if it's complicated, because I don't know what to say for that one. Would you give this book... We're gonna star rate. Yeah. Shockingly, it is not very diverse in rural Missouri. Okay. From 0 to 5. So again, if it's a 4, that means I probably want to own it. Sure, give me a funny, not funny thing from that era. I'm gonna give it a 3. My grandparents got married in rural Iowa in the 1950s. Okay. Trying to think of what rural Iowa would be like. Flat, I assume. I don't really know what's going on in the 1950s. My grandfather was Protestant and my grandmother was Catholic, which was already a huge social taboo. Yeah, no, that would have been a big one. And then he converted to Catholicism, and it was I feel the pearl clutching from here. It would have been a huge scandal. It's so funny to think that that was so scandalous back then, but no, my grandparents were born that was the level of social segregation in rural Midwest areas. Yeah, definitely. My grandparents were born in 1911, something like that. I can't quite remember. I remember it was really like in the early 1900s. They had my mom quite late, like a crazy. There's like they had like a normal like marriage and had 2 children, and then there was like 15-16 year gap between my mom and her sisters. So like it was like the geriatricest of geriatric pregnancies in the 1950s. When historical fiction miss when historical fiction when it has no historical context. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, this is a 3. Let me give it my rating. We'll say my biggest issue was that I think her name was Loretta. I already forgot, which is really telling of my mind and how holy it is lately. It's just that Loretta felt too modern for the time period. I also feel a little unsure about the relationship and romance at the end, but it was sweet and a fun read. So, good enough. And we're on to our last book for August, which there were 10. Whew, that was a lot of books. Mexican Gothic. I've been wanting to read this for a really long time, so I'm really glad that I finally remembered that I wanted to read this for a really long time and picked it up. It was mostly that they only had the audiobook at my library, and they had gotten rid of the ebook. So I was like, I like to actually read. So I may or may not have found a PDF of it and also listen to the audiobook at the same time. Anyway, Mexican Gothic is a retelling of the fall of the House of Usher. I think I'm gonna do a deep dive into the fall of the House of Usher and talk a little bit more about different retellings of it. So I would talk about this one, and I would talk about the T. Kingfisher one. That one was really good too. And I have another one that I'm reading next. So it is a little bit of a bigger one, but I'm really interested in that. I find that it's kind of cool what they're able to do with a story that is literally 12 pages long. Because that's basically like Edgar Allan Poe. Most of his stories are like, I had a little bit of a thought about something that would be kind of spooky, and I wrote down maybe a couple of paragraphs about that spooky concept, and then nothing else. Which, whatever. I have I have thoughts about Edgar Allan Poe, but we'll go into that a little bit more. I think that's going to be like a topic that we'll do sometime, probably either later on this month or in October, because it will be good for Halloween times. But yeah, you definitely should pick it up. Been meaning to read it. I would. It was really good. An award-winning author of Gods of Jade and Shadow, one of the 100 best fantasy novels of all time, Time magazine, returns with a mesmerizing feminist gothic fantasy in which a glamorous young socialite discovers the haunting secrets of a beautiful old mansion in 1950s Mexico. Alright, it was 1950s. I had a 1950s sort of kick here for 2 books. When glamorous socialite Noemi to why am I gonna Noemi Taboada did it do it? Okay, anyway, receives a frantic letter from her newlywed cousin begging to be rescued from mysterious doom. It's clear something is desperately amiss. Catalina has always had a flair for the dramatic, but her claims that her husband is poisoning her and her visions of restless ghosts seems remarkable even for her. Noemi's chic gowns and perfect lipstick are more suited to the cocktail parties than amateur sleuthing, but she immediately heads to High Place, a remote mansion in the Mexican countryside, determined to discover what is so affecting her cousin. Tough and smart, she possesses an indomitable will, and she is not afraid, not of her cousin's new husband, who is both menacing and alluring. Okay, maybe. Not his father, the ancient patriarch who seems to be fascinated with Noemi, and not of the house itself, which begins to invade Noemi's dreams with visions of blood and doom, and other weird things, including eggs and gold junk. It was icky. Her only ally in this inhospitable abode is the family's youngest son. Shy and gentle, he seems to want to help, but might also be hiding dark knowledge of his family's past, for there are many secrets behind the walls of High Place. The family's once colossal wealth and fated mining empire kept them from prying eyes, but as Noemi digs deeper, she unearths stories of violence and madness. And Noemi, mesmerized by the terrifying yet seductive world of High Place, may soon find it impossible to leave this why am I struggling with this? I thought I had it. What is wrong with me? Oh right, I took a painkiller. Hold on. Enigmatic house behind. Oh my god. People tell me I should become a voice actress, and I do shit like that. That's why I'm not a voice actress, if you ever wondered. Yeah, this one's definitely like 100% gothic horror, which I've only ever read one thing from Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and I loved it, but it was Silver Nitrate, and that was also gothic horror. So that seems to be her bread and butter. More of a psychological. It says over here that this one is slow creeping dread, decadent decay, and feminist resistance over gore and fast scares, which I would agree with. Some of it was a little bit alarming, but it was like one of those like slow realizations of alarming, like, oh shit, this is a little fucked up. Holy crap, what the hell is going on? But I really had a fun time with this one. again, I don't want to go too deep into it because I think I'll do a deeper dive on it later on. Let's go ahead and go in and add a review. Also, then we can be done, cause I know we got stuff going on, and it is. I said 3 hours, and it has been 3 hours, so this is gonna be the last one. Okay. This book would be for somebody in the mood for something dark, maybe a little mysterious, not sad, but tense, definitely. It's more of a medium-paced book. This one is, I would say, more plot-driven than character-driven, but there is some character development. We'll say it's complicated. I feel like, again, it's the fall of the House of Usher. There's not a lot of room for character development going on here, but it's not like there wasn't any. And I also think that the characters are really well formed and in good times. I like the characters. Is the cast diverse? Yes. I mean, everyone kept falling, including the house itself. Yeah! It's hard to deep dive when you're literally deep diving, that's true. Are the flaws of the main character a main focus of this book? Yeah, sort of. Of the bad guys. That's technically true. But not, I wouldn't say of the protagonist, not exactly. So we're gonna go with it's complicated! What would you like to give this book as a star rating? I want it, so it's definitely a 4, but it's not a 5. I'm gonna give it a 4.5. Hooray! That one was easier. Maybe I should always take a painkiller before I start because I'll stop him and hawing when it comes to trying to make a star rating because I get really like up in my head about that. What would I like to add? What am I gonna add here? The characters were well developed and interesting. I think this was a really, I wouldn't say really, it was a refreshing take on the classic tale. Would read again. Yes. You know, I don't always reread books. But here we are! We did them all! Woo! I wish I had confetti. I don't though. I did. We could set it off. Let's go ahead and go here though. Because I wanted to show you the cool wrap up stuff so you can do for month by month or for the whole year. So like at the end of the year I'll probably do a whole year graph, but then it will do like I have my 2024 wrap up. We could go take a look at that real quick. Congratulations on a wonderful reading year. You finished reading 80 books across 30,702 pages. And the last book and the first book. That's kind of cool. And there's not a lot of data because I didn't read I didn't keep track of like pages and stuff that year. I was really new to Storygraph at the time, but you can do that with even like now. I know how many books I've read. I've read 74 books this year so far. This says how many pages I've read so far, average time to finish. It gives a breakdown on the moods. You can see that I mostly read dark. Dark medium paced books between 300 and 499 pages. I only read fiction, which is very true. I primarily read horror, then thriller, then gay stuff. And no, the tags aren't really that important. I read a little bit of audio. This is just because I don't know why. I don't know why I put it in as print. I read a lot of Kate Ellis Marshall this year. We talked about her though. You guys know. A bunch of stuff came in, and you can see like it'll do a breakdown of the pages and the number of books you did. March was like my biggest month for number of books. 15 books? I read 15 books in March? Holy shit. Okay. I thought like 10 was a lot actually. What was I doing in March? Good God. Apparently I was reading in March. Okay. But yeah, I thought you might like seeing that. Yeah, you gotta love a good spreadsheet. I also like, cause like, if I go and put in, so I did this earlier, August, it'll show me some month wrap-up graphs. She has to journal, right? Give it a second. She needs a minute. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on, baby story graph. There you go. So this is my August 2025 wrap-up. I read 10 books, 3,130 pages. Now we have the ratings in, which we didn't have before. My average rating from across all books was 3.98. We got some 5-pointers. Look at them. Highest rated read. Average book length, 327 pages. Average time to finish, about 3 days, which seems normal for me. I'm gonna do a new book every 3 to 4 days. Breakdown of the genres. All fiction. Yep, that was the day that I finished a book in 1 day, because it was entertaining but bad. It was garbage. It was garbage book. Oh, this is why. Yeah, sometimes it'll say it's a print, and I'm not willing to do. I actually don't like nonfiction that much, but I think it's just that I got burnt out of nonfiction because I was in grad school. And I am no longer in grad school, so if I'm gonna read, I would prefer to read a fiction. I got you know, I read too many studies and I wrote too many studies. Oh yeah. That I mean I didn't go 10 years, but like I definitely took years off because of the reading burnout from grad school. My field of study was English with a focus on professional technical writing, but also teaching of writing, TESOL, and young adult children's literature. Thus, this is why I do these things. But now I'm like, I want all that yummy, delicious genre fiction. Delicious spec genre. Delicious horror. Garbage. Give me the garbage. Because I am tired of reading about sad people doing sad. I mean, okay. They are a little bit sad in my books too, but at least fantastical things are happening, and I tend to get things with happy endings. I like happy endings. I like when everybody's all gay and loving each other, and there's smooches. I just got an advanced reader copy for a gay horror western, and I am just hoping for many gay smooches at the end of it. I don't know. I just got on the list for it, so I haven't even opened it yet. Get a square version. Garçon, give me your hardest supernatural distill / fiction. Yes. 500k words. So this is my second ever stream, so welcome for everybody who came and hung out. Let's go ahead and go. We're gonna go over here now. We don't need to be here. Oh, thank you for the follow. Yeah, amazing. I'm so glad. I was hoping you would because you are good vibes. You're good vibes. So I'm going to be doing literature but also language learning on Mondays because I love literature, but I also live in France and I am trying to learn French. So sometimes we'll do some like Duolingo, and also I have like some videos of like French language learning things that we'll just kind of like take a look at. But then on Wednesdays I might stream games with friends, but if you don't see me streaming with them, that's just because my computer cannot handle it. So but you can watch them and I'll still be hanging out with them. And then on Thursdays I do music. We are going to build my repertoire together based on a theme. This Thursday we are going to be doing classical voice or opera. So that will be fun. If I don't see you guys then, you could also catch me on Saturday. I will be doing a game that day. I'm gonna do Slay the Princess. I've played it before, but not since the big update. So we'll have a little bit of fun with that, and definitely within that like horror spec fiction genre of storytelling. So it'll be some crossover happening then. But thank you all for all of the follows, for all of the support. It really means the world to me. I've never rated someone before. Should we try? Should we see who's on? Cause I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. Glitch, are you gonna go today? Are you already doing it? Glitch is already there. That's why Glitch isn't paying attention to us. Let's raid Glitch. You guys want to raid Glitch? They're doing a co-working stream, and they will be doing. They're doing a co-working stream right now, which they do video editing. They're actually my video editor. So let me see. I remember how to do this. No. Why can't I not type? Because they are an excellent editor. That is right. So you do raid, and then I do glitch round. Correct. Let's see if it works. Huh? Yeah, look at us. We're gonna do it. Let's go. We'll get some work done and we'll go relax and listen to some good music with Glitch. Thank you again. We will see you guys next time. On Wednesday, you can follow Glitch. This is a good thing. On Wednesday, we'll be playing Phasmophobia. If you want to watch us, you can follow Glitch now and you can catch us on Wednesday. Anyway, have a good time, everybody. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!